Macmillan Audio presents Born of Night by Sherrilyn Kenyon. Read for you by Kelly Fish.
Prologue. I quit the League tonight. Dr. Sheridan Bellask paused at the deep, thickly accented voice coming out of the darkest corner of his office. He looked up from the electronic medical files he was reviewing on top of his obsidian glass desk, but couldn't see even the smallest trace of the man hidden in the shadows. He was used to that. As a trained League assassin, Nykyrian Quikiades was literally one with the blackest night. No one ever saw him coming or going. They only felt the sting of death as he dealt it to them. Even though Sheridan was a doctor, sworn to save any life he could, this brutal killer was the only man he'd ever trusted at his back and with his family. Or, more to the point, the only man he'd ever trusted with the most deeply held secrets of a past he'd been running from his whole life.
You can't quit. You can only retire.
A euphemism that meant ritual suicide whenever assassin duties became more than a League soldier could mentally bear, or their bodies became too scarred or too damaged to carry out their missions any longer. No one voluntarily left the League. No one. Nykyrian stepped out of the shadows so that the dim light highlighted the white blonde hair that was braided down his back, an assassin's mark of honor. His solid, flat black battlesuit hugged every sharp curve of his well-muscled body. The outline of daggers were embroidered in dark blood red down the sleeves, the only external designation an assassin bore. Nykyrian's daggers held a crown above each hilt, letting the universe know he was the most lethal of his kind. A command assassin of the first rank. As always, Nykyrian was calm and watchful of the shadows, as if expecting someone like him to come for him at any moment. Somber, cold, lethal. Traits that had been drilled into him as a child. In all the years Sheridan had known him, Nykyrian had never once smiled. Never once broken that staunch military training that had left him emotionally bankrupt. The most disturbing thing of all was the fact that his eyes were hidden behind a pair of opaque shades, a safeguard used by military assassins to keep those around them on edge, since there was no way of telling where they were looking or what they were thinking. Or, more precisely, who the assassin was targeting. Nykyrian's handsome features were as stoic as his rigid stance.
I refuse to complete this mission.
Sheridan frowned in confusion. This wasn't the steadfast, merciless man he knew, the one who didn't hesitate at any brutality.
Yeah, right. You have to complete it.
Harsh though it was the law of the world in which they lived. Once a target was given, it was given. Succeed or die. There was no third option. The last thing Sheridan wanted was to see the only brother he'd ever known ruthlessly hunted and executed. Better someone, anyone else, die than Nykyrian.
They sent me after a child.
Nykyrian's tone was flat, deadpan. Sheridan's blood ran cold as he finally understood the one line neither of them would ever cross, no matter the necessity. The one line that had once saved Sheridan's life when Nykyrian would have killed him. Sheridan glanced at the hollow cube a few inches from his hand, where his own infant son smiled out with an untainted innocence neither of them had ever known. Nykyrian continued,
The League wanted an entire family swabbed.
That was icy cold, but far from unheard of. It should probably bother Sheridan that his best friend killed for a living, but then, given his own brutal past, it didn't affect him at all. The world was harsh, and it was bitter, especially to...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?